between light and dark is so very thin.
I am God! And I have become legend.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Becoming Legend. What is up, guys? I am, of course, Tweezii. Joining me, as always, is Birduup. Man, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mr. Tweezii. I'm glad to be back here. Glad to hear from you.
Yeah, man. Glad to hear from you as well. Today's episode, we're going to go over some quick housekeeping in a little bit, and then we're going to talk. Unfortunately, we have to talk about the IGN thing. Don't worry. We're not going to spend too much time on it. We're just going to quickly gloss over everything that we know as of this moment. We're going to give our thoughts. You can guess what those are going to be. And then the rest of this episode, we're really going to be talking about the 30th anniversary edition, kind of giving you an update as to what all we think about all of the different activities, as well as for those of you who never played a Bungie game prior to Destiny, giving you a brief recap of Destiny's history. So with all of that said, first item of housekeeping, the only item of housekeeping, this is the last episode of the year.
Woo! Hype, hype, hype.
Heck yeah. We are going to take the time off to enjoy the dawning, enjoy the time with family, friends, just spending the holiday with people that matter the most to us. But do not worry, we will be back with our next episode in January. In January, we're going to talk about a few things. I know we're going to talk about the dawning. We have some other topics that were kind of floating out there. But just stay tuned to our social channels. We'll plug them at the end. They're going to be in the show notes as well. But just stay tuned to those, and we'll let you guys know when the next episode is going to come out. So let's just do it. On December 10th, IGN released a feature article titled "The Battle for Bungie's Soul: Inside the Studio's Struggle for a Better Work Culture." The author spoke to 26 current and former Bungie employees who had worked with the company over the past decade, who described a culture of crunch, HR abuse, sexism, and inequality, among other things. This specifically was felt within the narrative team, and that's the reason why we're talking about it. The narrative team is the team that is responsible for all of the lore that we experience in the game, and members of the narrative team who spoke with IGN talked about toxic leadership, a culture of crunch, and a weird, difficult separation between members of old Bungie and members of new Bungie, and how those kind of conflicted with each other. I want to give a quote because I think this is the best way of describing some of that distinction between old Bungie and new Bungie, so you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. One person went on record to speak about a specific individual who was not named in the article. But what was said about this person, who is a high up in the narrative department, is, quote, "Multiple people told us he would frequently rewrite things at the last minute, often on his way to voice recording sessions. Writers wouldn't learn about changes to their work until after voice lines had already been recorded. When people objected to his demeanor, he told them they needed thicker skins and to learn how to take criticism. Narrative team members frequently worked between 60 and 100-hour weeks during some of the expansions with no breaks in between the crunch periods." The article goes on to outline multiple other issues at Bungie that run counter to many of the company's touted values and publicized initiatives against crunch, workplace harassment, and diversity. Following the release of the article, the Bungie CEO Pete Parsons released a letter to the Bungie community apologizing for how the employees had been treated in the past and committing to inclusivity, diversity, and equity. Now, one thing before I get into the rest of this article is talking about the last decade of Bungie, and Bungie has been doing a lot of things to try and to address a lot of the issues that were outlined in this article. But just because they're trying to address them doesn't mean that they are doing a good job at it. Okay. There is a lore expert on YouTube by the name of Mylan Games. We know him. We love him. He is one of the people responsible for the Grimoire anthology book series. He was the lore curator on that series. And he recently shared a video after this article came out outlining his experience with the creation of the Grimoire anthology, where he noted a lot of things that were very similar to the IGN article. He talked about how he he did all the work, collecting all the books, doing a lot of research as to why the books are structured in very specific ways, to have somebody question it the week before it was due. And then once he saw the final PDF, his name had been removed from the role that he had been promised, and somebody else who had only been with the team for a week, but that had been with Bungie for a long period of time, was given his old role. And when he spoke out about it, he was chastised by management. He was made to feel like he was not a team player, and he thinks in the video you can really get the sense that he thinks that it was that interaction that prevented him from any future work with Bungie. And this is Mylan Games we're talking about. Bungie, the most recent thing, Bungie's head of human resources, Gail DeHondit, stepped down from her position on the 15th. We do not know what her position is going to be, whether she's going to stay at Bungie or if she's going to completely leave the company. But the head of human resources has made a decision to step down, as you know, and it seems to be as a direct result of all of this negative publicity about how HR was protecting certain peoples. Now, I really don't want to talk about this too much longer than we have to, but I think because of the fact that we talk about the lore of this game, we really need to point out the fact that this is not okay. This is not the way that you should be treating your employees. And what's especially disappointing from our perspective is that this is completely counter to the vision of Bungie that they have been trying to promote for a number of years, supporting different diversity initiatives for the LGBTQIA community, supporting women in higher roles in the company, supporting people of color in positions in the company, and all of this just ran counter to it. And it really makes you sad and angry that when Activision was going through all of its things, Bungie was acting as if their shit didn't stink, when in fact it did. So this is not cool. This is not the Bungie that we want to happen. I'm glad that this came out so that we in the community can continue to put pressure on Bungie to live up to the promises that Pete Parsons is saying they're going to do. They need to be held accountable for their actions. And yes, again, they are improving, but slow improvement doesn't seem to be the way to go anymore. And so this is the community's way of putting Bungie on watch, that we are now paying more attention to what they're doing, to the people that work there, to the people that they have creating this game that we love. And yeah, just no, especially 100-hour work weeks, doing an expansion. And they said, oh God, dude, like, I don't want to get too much into it, but like, even in that article, they were talking about how the reasons why they were doing that is, even though outwardly the company was talking about avoiding crunch, so many things were getting cut and moved around, and the cinematic editors were doing things that were separate than what the narrative team was doing. So the narrative team was having to do last minute revisions to in-game narrative, and that's why they were doing crunch and they weren't reporting it. Like, no. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
So they've been on blast. Obviously, things are changing a little bit faster now, and it is our duty as members of the community to acknowledge it, to call it out, and to continue to push them to be better. So, we got that out of the way. Obviously, we don't need to say too much about it. We condone it. This is not something that we're cool with. But you know what we are cool with? The 30th anniversary.
Very cool.
Wow.
Very
what
cool,
a transition.
the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, man. I have been playing Bungie games for a very long time. I didn't think about it until quite recently. I've been playing Bungie games since like 2001, actually. Mm-hmm. And then I remember a certain game was re-released in 2003, and that was when I had it on my PC for the first time, and I was just playing a bunch of stuff. But man, I am loving everything that they've done so far, and I really think that for what this is, like a meme event, like nothing that's super serious, I'm glad that we're taking the time to celebrate Bungie's like history and where they've come from and what all work they've done, because Bungie has been a game studio that has helped revolutionize so many parts of gaming. They've had so many influential games, and so it needs to be pointed out. It needs to be like the attention needs to be brought to them and to celebrate them for 30 years, because not a lot of companies make it this long, you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And this event is a culmination of all of the games that they've created before. I personally enjoy the new 6-man activity that they've given us, the Dares of Eternity. The Dares of Eternity takes place in this kind of space island, which is called Eternity, which is described to us as a place in between universes. It's described as a paraverse. So all of the different universes and worlds that have been created throughout Bungie's timelines and separate games are starting to cross over in this cumulative event. Information is flowing freely in between these realms. You may even see it represented in some of the other games as well. But specifically here, you have weapons, you have locations from previous games, you have swords that are really being chased after to see if they can be combined to create one of the most amazing swords of all time. If you know, you know. If you don't, there are 2 half swords right now that the community is really trying to see if there will be another exotic event where we can combine them to create the sword. Leave it at that.
I mean, that'd be cool. That one sword has a very hard drop rate right now.
I can't get it, honestly. I've been dropping so many tokens, and I can't get it. But, one of our clan members, Sefusori, one of the luckiest members of all time, just gets it on one of his first tries, and now he's brandishing it for everyone to see.
That's what I would do. I can't blame him for that. All right. So I would love to continue to talk about that. Real quick, though, for those of you who are new to Destiny, who are new to Bungie, I figured we can take a small moment to kind of talk about Bungie's history. Because Bungie, again, 30 years. What have they done in those 30 years? You may have known some of the games, but do you know all of them? So this is going to be real quick. I swear we're going to get back into Destiny. But again, 30th anniversary event, we should celebrate everything that they've done. So Bungie was first founded by Alex Serapian in 1991, and they published a game called Operation Desert Storm, which was a top-down tank shooter, and they released it on the Mac. However, Bungie will claim that their first game is Knop, which was a Pong clone that was created in 1990. After partnering with Jason Jones, they released a game called Minotaur: The Labyrinths of Crete, which was a role-playing adventure game in 1992. It was their... They had their first actual commercial success with Pathways into Darkness, which was a 3D first-person shooter in 1993. They had a lot of plans about doing a 3D shooter. They originally wanted to do the sequel to Minotaur in 3D, but realized that it wouldn't work. So they moved on and created Pathway into Darkness. In 1994, they released one of their biggest games to date, which was Marathon. It was another 3D first-person shooter. Again, this is 1994, so like you gotta think about how big a deal a 3D game was back then. But what made Marathon special was the fact that it had a multiplayer deathmatch mode that players could play on LAN. Marathon was very much Mac's answer to Doom. And Marathon actually, in 2012, Time Magazine named Marathon as one of the 100 best video games ever released. Bungie then released 2 sequels to Marathon in 1995 and 1996, those being Marathon 2 Durandal and Marathon Infinity. Both of those games introduced features familiar to Bungie fans, with Marathon 2 introducing a campaign co-op feature, and Marathon Infinity released a Forge system. Bungie's next game, Myth of the Fallen Lords, was a real-time tactics game released for both Mac and PC in 1997, and that became their best-selling game to date, and it garnered the attention of Microsoft. After the release of the sequel to Myth, which was Myth 2 Soulblighter in 1998, and they created a branch of the studio in San Jose called Bungie West that created a game called Oni, which was a third-person action game that was later released in 2001. In 2000, the company was purchased by Microsoft and became a part of the Microsoft game division. They released the Xbox exclusive Halo Combat Evolved in 2001, which has gone on to become one of Xbox's flagship titles. Bungie did create 4 sequels to the Halo franchise. They created Halo 2 in 2004, Halo 3 in 2007, Halo 3 ODS 2 in 2009, and Halo Reach in 2010, before splitting from Microsoft. And after that split with Microsoft, they signed a 10-year publishing deal with Activision that would allow them to own all of the new intellectual property that was created while they were under the deal. In 2014, Bungie released Destiny, which was followed by the Taken King expansion in 2015 and the Rise of Iron expansion in 2016, before releasing Destiny 2 in 2017. And then the biggest news in 2019, after being in the partnership with Activision for 8 years, Bungie terminated their deal with Activision and became the sole publisher for any future Destiny installments and expansions. That is a brief glance of their history, but you can see Marathon, you can see Myth, you can see elements of all of these games throughout everything that they've done. And not just that, you see small little hints towards some of the things, especially Halo, in this 30th anniversary event, man. Like it is definitely some of the most fun. Like it is great to get a Gjallarhorn back. Like it really is. But getting the what is called the Forerunner pistol, right? Yeah, that Halo CE pistol as an exotic.
Magnum. Ooh.
Yeah, that thing is powerful. That thing does some damage.
Now tell them about the catalyst for it.
Oh, I don't have that yet.
Okay, so when you get the catalyst, what it does is allow you to take your energy grenade and turn it into a frag grenade from Halo. So you are getting not just the Magnum, you are getting the grenade. So if you love to grenade spam from all of your Halo experiences, you can now do that in your new favorite game, Destiny 2.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it's a huge deal, though, because one of the things that makes Halo grenades so special is that they're physics objects. So you have the ability to bounce them off of objects and actually do a little bit more. I think there's always like one type of grenade that can do it for most of the subclasses, but they suck. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's super dope. I've been having a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with this event. I think this, just as a whole, the way they've introduced Xur back into it, the fun that we're having in the Dares of Eternity, all of the stuff that you can unlock. Like this is, to be honest, it was a little much when I was like, okay, well, I have the season still needs to finish. We have the 30th anniversary edition. Dawning is going on. Like, okay, there's like 14 different things happening at once right now in just this game. But man, like this has been something that's actually brought me back. I've kind of been gone for a little bit. I've kind of been playing some other games since the story kind of, like stopped.
We're at a lull in the season and waiting for the new missions to come out, which they are hinting at will be coming soon. But, in the meantime, that's totally understandable. But this has brought me back as well. And to me, it's very interesting how they've really created almost two. There are two separate versions of this event. There's the free-to-play event, which you do get the 6-man experience, but also they have a paid version. The paid is where you get the Gjallarhorn and the new dungeon and the Thorn armor. You will not be able to access those without paying $24.99, unfortunately, but I would say it's absolutely worth it. It really, I would say the dungeon alone is absolutely worth it. I've had so much fun. If that alone is reason for you to hand over a little bit of your cash, do it. I would highly recommend you, if you can, to go in blind. This has been one of the most blind run dungeons for me to experience. I won't spoil anything except to say that there are traps. There are a lot of traps and they are super entertaining, and it's just a lot of fun to figure it out. It is soloable, absolutely, but if you can go in with a fire team of 3, get you 2 more, join our clan so we can help you out. It's definitely fun. And you actually have to go back and do the dungeon multiple times in order to get the catalyst for the Gjallarhorn, as well as to experience the lore recordings. There are voice recordings, 12, that are scattered throughout the dungeon that explain the story of Wilhelm 7 or Avarok. The dungeon is called Grasp of Avarok, so it's the story of this crazy, crazy treasure hunter and the journey that he went on and the people he betrayed just to get some extra exotics. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, man. No, it's definitely a lot of fun. I think also if you purchase the game, other than the emotes, other than the cool, like you also get some cosmetic items, of course. You do get like the beanie and stuff, which is great. Like I'm not gonna lie, the casual ornaments are stupid and awesome, and that's what I wear now.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. But you also they did bring back, specifically for the dungeon, they did bring back a couple of Destiny 1 weapons as well. So it is great to see them revisit, not just bring back Gallahorn, which we all know is Destiny 1's favorite weapon because it got brought back twice, but also that they brought back some of the other favorites whose names I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say, no, it's not 1,000.
I know the battle rifle is back. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, they did bring in the battle.
Good rolls on the battle rifle. Scope
You don't have
works the same. Sorry?
Do you have it yet?
I do.
Yeah, it's fun. It feels weird, not gonna lie, especially because like I've also been playing Halo, and so like it's a hard adjustment to make. But no, it's definitely been a lot of fun. There's definitely a lot of nods. Like they try to bring in a lot of the stuff from the Paraverse, from all the other games that they've created into Destiny in a fun and engaging way. And it's definitely something that, like, yeah, you can do the dungeon. Everyone that I have talked to says to run the dungeon blind. Don't be worried about it. But then also everyone said that it's not a particularly difficult dungeon, and the fact that compared to some of the others, this one could be one that's very easy for you to solo. So, just keep that in the back of your head. But I gotta say, when I loaded into Dares of Eternity first, right? Mm-hmm. And because that's how you go in, right? Like when you log in on that Tuesday where it dropped, you the first thing that you do, Xur snags you, brings you into a dare, and you get Star Horse's favor. And I was like, what in the hell is a Star Horse? And you specifically had a lot of interesting theories, I thought, about the Star Horse that you wanted to talk about, right?
Yes. So there are a couple theories out there that are revolving around. The one that I find the most favor in is that I believe Star Horse is one of the 9. Which 9? Couldn't tell you. Which side of the 9? Is it the members of the 5 or the 4 that want light or darkness to win? I couldn't tell you that either. But the reason why I do think this is because Xur says multiple times that he is bound to the horse and must do what the horse commands him to do. He has no will of his own, and we already know that Xur's arms and legs are actually controlled by the 9. Any movements that you see him do are not his own will. It's the 9 trying to control him in order to interact in our universe, more or less. But he's not able to do this whenever the Star Horse is around, because Star Horse is commanding him to stop giving us loot on the weekends, which he's still doing, but that's not technically part of this. Stop giving us loot on the weekends, and I'm commanding you to do a game show in eternity in this space in the Paraverse where multiple timelines are converging, and I want you to gather these guardians so that we can play a game show and give him loot at the end of it. Mm-hmm. So the fact that his will is bound to the Star Horse and he has to do exactly what it says really makes me think that it would be a member of the 9. Also, whenever you go to Xur's treasure room, there is a giant planetary figure of Jupiter in the center of the room. That really implies to me that it could be, if it is a member of the 9, it's most likely going to be Jupiter. Jupiter, being the largest, could have more influence over the others. What I'm wondering is, could it be the 5th member that can sway the tide of light or dark? But they're not giving us that information right now, but it definitely makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder, because they wouldn't just give us this stuff for no reason. Granted, it is an event just to pay homage to the 30 years of Bungie and say thank you to the players who have been sticking around for all these years. But at the same time, it is canon. So these, I don't know. Yeah.
It definitely makes sense. Like, because and we've talked about this before. We've talked about this with members of the community. We talked about it when we talked about the 9 and the fact that there were 9 people that were missing from the Yang Li Wei. Mm-hmm. And, the problems that everybody has with that being like, is that a red herring? Is that true or false? Like right now, our assumption is that everything that happens for a very specific reason. And we may not know it yet, but they are aware of it. And so the decision to have the planet in there is something where you're like, okay, this is weird, but I'll go with it. It just takes up a large portion of the room. I could have more treasure if I didn't have a planet. But they have that there. The way that Xur talks about the horse It's definitely something where you're just like, okay, well, like, we get it. It's a meme event. Like this is just to have fun, to bring in some Halo weapons, to bring everybody back to the loot cave to earn more loot. If you were there at the beginning of Destiny 1, you know why the loot cave is so significant. If you don't, pretty much there was a cave in the Cosmodrome that people just sit outside of and shoot blindly into because you could. Like, that's it. Like, you could, enemies would constantly spawn in there. You wouldn't have to see them in order to kill them. And then you just have teams of people doing that. And then after like 10, 15 minutes of doing it, you run in there, refill all your weapons, pick up all of the engrams that dropped, and then run back out, do it all over again.
Absolutely. You can farm all of your bounties in maybe a 10-minute cycle. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. So it was great. It was a definite mistake in the very early days of Destiny, but
yeah, they fixed that after a while.
Yes,
but it was fun while it lasted.
It was fun, and every time you drive by it, you're like, yeah, loot cave. No, but it's definitely like it's a meme event. But again, like you said, everything is canon now. Like, everything is they've created a lore book. We're doing all of these things, so there has to be some sort of intentionality behind it. We know so little about Xur. We still know so little about the Nine. All that we know is what we've been told from like Orin and from like a little bit from the Drifter. Most of what we know about the Nine came from the season of Drifter. So
and the Drifter,
we're still trying to figure them out.
Time.
I mean, he has been. I mean, not really. Like, he showed up in Beyond Light, but he didn't really do much.
Yeah, he showed up, showed us a little bit of his stasis powers, which we didn't necessarily know he had, and went right back to the tower. Yeah,
that's it. He still calls me traitor. So, but I'm also excited to see potentially if the horse is a member of the Nine, if it's just a manifestation of the Nine, because also that has other implications. Does this mean that, as we've talked about with the Nine before, the Nine have been really trying to convert dark matter into matter that can exist in our universe? And so does this also mean, if the Star Horse is in fact a member of the Nine, does this mean that in the Paraverse, they are actually able to take some sort of physical shape that we can interact with? And is this possibly, again, this is a straw that I am reaching for. Okay, I am reaching very hard on this one. But does this mean that as a result of this, will we talk about how we think the Nine are going to be a bigger thing in the next season? Could this be a way that a physical manifestation of the Nine finds its way into the game for us to interact with? And not just the emissaries, not just Xur, not just Orin, but the actual Nine themselves. I still have questions. Because again, it's also a horse that runs a game show, and like, what does this have to do with anything?
Right.
But it was cool, especially like, I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks like Crota. And then everyone's like, no, it's not Crota. And then I ran into the event, first boss, Crota, aspect of Crota, but Crota. And I was like, okay, cool. We're also paying homage to, some of the early parts of Destiny that were so great. Like,
yes,
Crota's End was a big deal.
That's right.
And that is a mechanic that we see come back time and time and time and time and time and time again. So
the sword slam.
Yeah,
you see a giant Crota, you know that you need to find a Hive Knight with a sword so you can kill him, take his sword, and slam Crota. That's the only way you're going to get Crota to bow the knee.
Yeah, so that's it. It's fun. It was, I've just had a lot of fun with this event. I've had a lot of fun, like, goofing around and kind of jumping around and exploring the space and trying to hit, like, I think I've got the timing right on that first little like slingshot thing you can do.
Yes, there actually is a trick to that. I don't mind saying that here on the episode for all listeners out there. There is a trick to getting the perfect jump. It's whenever the circles are rotating around on the spinning circle. When the circles are rotating on the circle. Sorry, there are 3 points on the circle. Whenever those points align with the right circle on the right-hand side and it makes a sphere like a planet, that's when you jump. If you do that every time, you'll get it right no matter what.
Nice. Definitely have to try that out later tonight. Yeah, man. It's been a lot of fun. That was a fun event. It's also an event that, you do get a lot of enemies in the same way that we did in the battlegrounds, where there's just a lot. But the difference that I've noticed this time is that Galahorn is just as strong as it's always been.
Galahorn
and
shreds.
It does. I think they shared a video, not this most recent TWAB, but the one prior, of just people melting every raid boss. With it like one phasing pretty much every raid boss that could be one faced. I was just like, geez, this might be too powerful. We need to take this back out of the game.
Right? I was wondering how they're going to balance that come future DLC, say with Witch Queen and stuff like that. So we will see how long it remains a powerhouse. We already got an update after the release of Yellowhorn that makes it not necessarily the most powerful exotic anymore. There are contenders. My personal favorite, Sleeper Simulant, is back up there. And 1K has always been putting up numbers, but Sleeper's up there now. Galahorn's back up there, and that other exotic, I always forget, the one that shoots 1 million rockets at you and everyone uses in Crucible.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah. That one. The one that's just a bunch of circles. Looks like a space thing. Yeah.
That one. But one other
I can't think of the name either.
That I did want to mention about the Dares of Eternity, I really like that it's implementing mechanics from the Menagerie as well. This particularly reminds me of the Menagerie, and I really like that event. I was sad to see it go, but the way that you are getting randomized enemies and the ways that at the end you have a boss with specific mechanics, and in Dares of Eternity, there is one Vex boss at the end that does send the red deconstruction lines at you, or deconstruction waves, just like the boss from the Menagerie. So that was a pretty good callback for me. Kind of, what would you say is like maybe year 2 Destiny 2?
The Menagerie came out Destiny 2 Season of Opulence. So yeah, that was Season 2. That was the last season of that, because we had gotten that was also the season that we got Season of the Drifter, and the season, oh goodness, I had it and I lost it. What?
The first one, whatever that was called, I don't remember.
Yeah. I was like, because we went Curse of Osiris, then we went Warmind, and then we went Forsaken, and then after Forsaken, was it Joker's Wild? Or was that
Joker's Wild? Was the Drifter season.
That was the Drifter.
Whatever was the season on the...
Oh, yeah, the Black Armory. Black Armory. That one was first.
Ada 1, the most useless piece.
I mean, she's only useless now because she doesn't give us enough synthwave to be able to actually do anything with it. So I just sit with bounties that I'm never going to cash in. So that's
I like how they gave Ada 1 actual lore tabs about the synthwave machine, and she never did anything with it. I thought she was going to build a super weapon to use against the pyramid ships or something, and she's like, no, this is my purpose in life, to change Guardian's armor at will.
I mean, I'm here for it, but I just wish that I didn't get capped on it and I could do more with it. Like, just let me do what I want to do. You know what? Even better, if it's gone, let me purchase it from Ada 1. Let Ada 1 be like, remember in the old version of Destiny 1, if you went over to where the speaker was, there was, I think it was Eva Levante that would sell you old emblems and old shaders and stuff that you could just buy if you missed it. Do that. Just let me buy it. Yeah. Let me buy it if I missed it. It's whatever. But yeah, man, I gotta say it has been great to have this season. It has been great to see, especially what you talked about. Like we don't really get a lot of 6-man activities, especially ones that are fun.
I thought that was the word you were searching for. I mean, you get a new 6-man activity every season, but it's just not a guarantee that it's going to be fun every season. And to me, the one that we have this season in comparison to the Vex Overloads of previous, those were way more fun. To me. And then you had the Taken versions at the end of the season, and now it's kind of there's really no reason to do a heroic astral alignment. You do it one time for the triumph, and after that you never want to go back.
No, that's it. You do it for one so that you can get the seal, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And it's hard because also like Menagerie is such a favorite in the community. It arguably is one of the best matchmaking 6-man activities that you can do. So this did show me promise. This did show that, you know, even if it's not the level of mechanics that Menagerie required, because Menagerie, like, it did take a long time to run a Menagerie. Like, we all know that. But it was fun. And I appreciate the fact that this is an event like Dares, I don't mind going back and doing over and over and over again because they're fun. It's just stupid fun trying to get Star Horse's favor, trying to pick up all of the like power-ups that you can pick up on the map, just running through it, getting all your dares done. Like, it is a whole bunch of fun, you know, and especially because this is starting that new release schedule that Bungie has told us about, where every 3 months we are either going to be getting a dungeon or a raid. You know, if this is the event that kicks it off, I was worried when we started it. I was worried. I was like, this could be not fun. This could be something that's going to be a time suck. But this has actually, again, it's been some of the most fun that I've had in Destiny in a while. It makes it so much fun to grind and to, like, you know, right now, again, it's the dawning. Everyone has to grind out to get all of their stuff. There seemed to have been like a bug with picking up null taste, neither here nor there. But this is an activity that's so fun that I don't mind grinding out dawning stuff again and making all these cookies, because I'm doing it by doing dares. I'm doing it by unlocking these chests that Zer has, getting all these cosmetics, getting this armor, getting these weapons. Yeah, man, it is surprisingly a lot of fun. You know, it is something that has brought me back, especially when this is moments of triumph and like, I'm having fun playing Destiny again, which I haven't gotten to say a lot this season because I was having fun in the beginning, and then after 7 weeks, everything just kind of stopped. You know, and then it went back to being what Bungie's, you know, what Destiny's typically about, which is grinding out and min-maxing your power and stuff. Which is fun for, like, you know, a little bit when you have something to look forward to, but this has been a long season, so I'm really glad that this was the hit that I think everybody in the community thinks that it is. You know, not just because you get Gallahorn back, not just because of you know, the fact that we're having an event with a new dungeon, but the fact that everything that they've released is fun and it's stuff that everybody wants again. So, yeah, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I really think that the ludicrousy of Space Horse helps with that. I think the fact that it's not so serious of an event, like Astral Alignment, for example, if you compare the activities that you do, they're pretty similar, more or less, but just the tone of the event itself and the lore and the background dialogue and stuff, you have to pay attention in Astral Alignment, and there's so much stuff going on. Where here, you can just shoot stuff with your friends, not have a care in the world, and randomly hear a horse neigh in your ears whenever whenever you do something good. And maybe you'll get a piece of space sugar cube that you can give to the horse, and the horse will actually reward you, and you can become friends with it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole very weird thing that if you had told me.
If you as the listener don't necessarily want to take our word for it, or if we have not convinced you yet to give this a try, take a look at the Steam numbers. I actually was having a look at those earlier today, and you can see that the average player base has skyrocketed since this event has come out. Not just on the particular day where it did peak at like 282,000 or something like that, but it's maintained an average of 20% higher player base since that release. So that means that people are really having fun right now. People who have not played Destiny ever, or people who used to play, are coming back just for this event. And if you don't want to toss in the $24.99, just try out the free version. Try out the Dares of Eternity. Come meet the Space Horse. Tell us what you think.
Yeah. I mean, Dares of Eternity is still going to give you a lot of great stuff. It is free. It is free for you to do. You're going to be able to get, like, you're going to be able to grind out for the Halo weapons that are being reintroduced. So don't worry about that. The only things that you're not going to have without buying it is some of the emotes, some of the cosmetic stuff, and the dungeon and the Destiny 1 weapons and the Gallahorn quest. You know, and if that's not worth $25 to you, that's fine. We don't know how long this is going to last. You know, like, that has been a question. Especially because when you look at your Triumph page, especially if you use Braytech, for example, if you look at your Triumph page on Braytech, a number of Triumphs are set to expire very soon, or you know, set to reach a point where you can no longer cash them in, because we're getting New expansion means, typically all the season pass stuff goes away. So we don't know how long this is going to last. So also just hop in and enjoy it while you know that it's here. It's going to be here until the 22nd. We hope. Past that, no question. Like no actual answer as to how long we're going to have this. I assume it's going to be for a bit, but it's definitely something that's fun. It's definitely something that gets you back into the game just to grind out, have fun with your friends, and get back to what Destiny is best at, which is having fun with friends, shooting things in space, and getting cool loot out of it, Yeah. And especially since it harkens back to Halo, and there's a real nostalgia factor for players like me who have been playing Halo since it came out. Like, it also hits you right in the member berries in all the right ways, man. So
Oh yeah.
definitely come and enjoy
You know
it.
what really does do a good job of the member berry reminder is the new celebration mod that they have. We forgot to mention that, and it would be a shame not to. For you Halo fans out there, there is a mod that you can insert into your weapons that gives you the grunt birthday surprise when you land your headshots. PvE or PvP. So if you're a Crucible main or you want to go shoot Fallen in the face and pretend that they're grunts, hey, yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's the easiest skull in any Halo game to turn on and just like have fun with. It's stupid, but it's definitely worth every second of every headshot. So
Yes.
definitely. Hop in, check it out. The lore is fun. Wilhelm is great. But really, this event, again, as we talked about at the start, is just showing love to Bungie for the influence that they've had on the gaming industry for so long, creating games that we've all loved and have, especially for children, I think, of our generation, have defined what our childhoods were and defined how we experienced gaming and for a lot of people, brought a lot of people into gaming, so definitely this is the event to check out, just to pay some love and to give some love to somebody who's been doing it well, minus, of course, the stuff we talked about at the beginning of the show, but from a product side has been doing really great work since 1990, man. So hats off to him. 30th. You did good.
Absolutely.
You did good.
Absolutely. Great work. Keep it up.
All right, man. Well, now that we're coming up on the end, we get to talk about the fun stuff. So let's start with you, Bird. Anything exciting you got coming on? Anything that you got coming out that you want to share with the people?
Yes, I wanted to talk specifically with the clan members that made it this far into the episode and people who are considering joining the clan, because we do stuff like this more and more often. Right now, we have a contest which is called Become Legends of Prophecy. We're all about becoming legend and creating legends that we can tell people forever. And this is the first tournament that we're having. It is a time trial for the Prophecy Dungeon. And you can create any team of 3 that you like. And the goal is to have the fastest time by midnight of December 19th, and the winning fire team will receive a cash prize of $30 to be split among the fire team evenly. We started out with the average time being around an hour. Then after the Bungie 30th anniversary release and we were able to get 3 Galahorns, the average time has gone down to 30 minutes. And the winning team right now in first place has a time of 25 minutes for the prophecy. But we know there's strategies out there that can get it even faster, and nobody has done a flawless run yet. So keep it up, becoming legend. And I'm looking to see who can get the fastest time, and we will be posting it whenever the tournament is finished. So you can actually watch this run and see how they did this crazy fast time. Can we get it down to 15 minutes? Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Find out.
That's exciting. Especially because we know that there's things that Bungie's taken out of the game. Certain swords were nerfed because of the speedrunning community. So it's exciting to see that, especially with Galahorn coming out, especially with some of the stuff that you talked about before we recorded. I'm excited to see if you guys can break the 20 minutes. That'll actually be something where you're like, okay, wow, because then you can take that in with other people and be like, yo, we can do this in 30 minutes. It's
absolutely
no excuse at this point.
Absolutely. Fully modded out, fully min-maxed, right weapons, right timing, flawless run. I think we can do 20 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I've been cheering you guys on from the sidelines. I look forward to seeing how this happens. And yeah, man. Anything else? Anything else? Any streams coming up over the holidays that you're going to do, or you're just kind of going to wing it?
Mostly going to wing it. Actually going to take a little bit of a step back from the streaming game because I have too many games. I can't play all these. I can't. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I will be playing Mortal Shell off stream, attempting to relax for a very unrelaxing game, and see if I can make it through in preparation for Elden Ring coming in the spring.
Nice.
Other than that, I mean, yeah, you definitely will catch me random streams going on, but really I will be taking a step back, focusing on the holidays, spending time with family, as I hope that our listeners get to do as well. Don't spend all of your time gaming. It can become stressful, to say the least. Make
especially
sure you're spending this time to relax. Treat yourself. Spend time with the family. You can save them from the darkness later. All right. How about you, sir? What do you have going on? Anything that you want to...
I have some stuff that's in the works that I'll talk about probably at a later date. Probably when we come back in January, I'll be in a point where I can talk about it. Stream wise, I don't know yet. It's going to be one of those random things. I of course have been playing Destiny more over the last couple of weeks since the 30th anniversary edition has come out. Prior to that, I've been playing Halo. I've been playing Halo Infinite. If you know anything about me and my personal history with gaming, Halo holds a very special place in my heart. And so I've been just on the ranks grind and the solo duo playlist, just trying to reach Onyx. So might stream it, might not. I've also been running the campaign. I've gotten through the first 2 missions, so I'm finally at the point where it's an open world game. So I'm excited to really experience that. Of course, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on Halo Infinite, but yeah, man, I can't say that I'm going to stream on XYZ days at the moment because right now I don't know. The best chance is catching me on a weekend, especially if you're West Coast, because I'm West Coast. I'm on very late for what most everybody else in the clan considers. I am on late my time, so I know it's even later for people on the East Coast and for the people that are in other countries. So I don't expect anybody to to flood my mentions, but yeah, that's that, man. We do have some stuff that we're talking about, some exciting stuff or ideas that we are going to be spending the holidays talking about between the two of us about what we can do to
indeed
to make this podcast bigger, better, faster, stronger, all of the Daft Punk things. And I'm excited to get to share that with you guys as well once we're in a place where we can do that. So yeah, past that, you can find me on socials. I'm probably going to be tweeting about this weekend is the first Halo LAN, HCS Raleigh. So I'll probably be tweeting a little bit about that. We've already broken the numbers for most viewers in a Halo event period. And it's only Friday when we're recording this. It's only the first day of the tournament. So it's only going to go up from here. So you can catch me there. I'll probably tweet about the Jaguars and their abysmal season as well. But yeah, past that, I'm around, but I got nothing worth sharing at the moment. So,
well, that sounds great. I'll be paying attention for sure. Catch you when I can.
Yeah.
Before we head out, I just wanted to thank the listeners, thanks the viewers, thanks to everyone who's popped in for a minute or 23 episodes. I really appreciate you all being here and participating. Even just listening is counting as participating. That shows that you have an interest in that. We're not just talking into the abyss, because we can talk about Destiny by ourselves all day long. So, to know that there are others who are gaining knowledge from this really is kind of humbling to me, and I really appreciate you all so much. It's been a great 2021. We just hit a year of the podcast 2 or 3 episodes ago. So we're coming up on our second year of the pod. We're going to grow it and increase viewership, increase everything, increase participation in the clan, increase ways that you can participate with us and places you can find us in the future. So look forward to it.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Well, with all that being said, man, you guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. Have a great holiday. Spend time with your loved ones. And we will see you in January.
That's right.
Later, y'all.